Ryan Sungalee of Rappler.com here with, if you allow me, well, it's the big show.
He's gonna sing. You know, it's funny, and Shawn Michaels sings that song all the time. He comes, he goes, well, it's like cool. You're like, hey, Shawn Michaels is singing my theme song. Like, does he like it, or is he making fun of me? No, Shawn's a good guy.
Either way, that's got to be a great honor for someone like Shawn Michaels.
It is. Either way, if Shawn's making fun of me or if he does like me, it's all good. Absolutely.
At least he knows who you are.
Exactly.
Big Show, you are, of course, I want to start off by saying that you really are one of a kind. When you first broke into the business, even to today, there has not been anyone like you.
Thanks.
Not just as a big man, but as an athletic big man who's done things that people your size in this business have not been able to do. You've hinted that you're winding down. We saw at the last WrestleMania, you had the stare down with Shaq, and then at the ESPYs you ran into him again, and you guys kind of exchanged words. Is that going to be what happens at WrestleMania 33?
I think so. You know, that whole thing with Shaq is it's a why not. You know what I mean? If Shaq's got the interest to do it, I'm not really doing much. We can put on one heck of an entertaining match for the fans. I know there's a lot of smart marks out there that will completely disagree. However, the general population is a lot more popular than the smart marks, so they'll have to deal with my poor wrestling performance, and they can get to high spots later. No, we're excited about it. Shaq's always been a big fan. He's always been a great guy that's always come around and done a lot of stuff with our shows, and for him to get in the ring and actually go through some stuff, it's going to be interesting because I'm big enough to move him around. So we'll have some fun.
And of course, he's a guy who gets it.
He gets it. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's entertainment. It's not real. It's not the live or die by stuff. It's entertainment. You know, everybody out there is playing a role and playing a character. It's not who we really are. So
now, do you think is that heading towards the end of your career? Will that be your last match?
I don't know if it'll be my last match. You never say never, but I don't know what more I can do. I mean, there's with the brand splitting, there may be some opportunities for me to help some other guys out now. You know, there's still some work I can do with Braun Strowman a little bit and help him out. You know, Big Cass is out there. I help a lot of those guys backstage. As far as for me, I've been fortunate in this career. I've kind of worked everybody that's anybody. I've done all the angles from being angry to being sad to being fired to everything. So I'm happy with not having that big a dominant role on TV. I'm happy doing the live events every now and then when I can, tours like this over here. It's still fun. You know, for me personally, I'm always whatever Vince needs. That's why I've been around as long as I have. If he needs me to turn heel tomorrow and run against whoever, I'll do it, you know. It's funny, I'm 44 now, but I actually feel better now than I did at 34. The past few months have been really good for me. Rehabbing a lot of stuff, a lot of injuries that were bothering me for years between knee and hip. They're doing really good now, you know, knock on wood. So I actually can look you in the face and tell you right now that I feel better now than I did 10 years ago. So that is a blessing due to the rest. But if Vince finds out how good I'm feeling, that just means he'll put my big ass back to work.
Don't worry, we'll block him from the interview.
There you go. There you go.
No, you mentioned you know, coming over here. I know that it's the first time WWE has been in the Philippines since 2009. Were you at any of the previous shows?
Yeah, I believe so. I think I came over in 2006, right? I think so. I think I tagged with Kane. That's the thing. You know that song, I've Been Everywhere, man?
Yeah.
I've been everywhere. I have. I remember the last time we came over here, the fans were insane. Outside the hotels chanting, and the arenas were hot. The crowd's good. And that's one thing you look for. You want to perform in front of crowds that get it, that are come there to entertain. Sometimes you get people that come to the shows, they don't come to have fun. You know,
especially now.
Yeah, nowadays everybody's a critic, but when fans really enjoy it and love the product and get into it and show up to have a good time, that's when they get the better shows and the better reaction from the guys. Because you know the guys are human too; they can feel the vibe of an audience, and believe me, when we have a hot crowd, that's all everybody's talking about. Oh, they're hot tonight! They're hot tonight! So everybody gets worked up and excited. So I think this is definitely going to be one of one of the towns that we come to that's going to be hot, so it's going to be a hell of a show.
I'm trying to remember which. It was the Raw after Mania. There was a "Thank You, Big Show" chant.
Yeah.
Which one was that?
I don't know, but it's always amazing when they do that. It's humbling. I've never been a big guy for personal accolades or win-loss records or anything stupid like that. I just always want to be a guy that was respected by my peers in the locker room. When I retire, I will probably never do a big fanfare. I'm like Clint Eastwood in Pale Rider, and I'll just ride off into the sunset. That's more of who I am as a person. I mean, I'm a lucky guy. I love this business. I love the guys I work with. I love the company I work for, and I love the fans I perform for. Every day I wake up, I'm fortunate enough to be in this business. I mean, you figure out of all the billions of people around the world, I still get to do this job. So it's a very small percentage of people that really get to do it. So I'm thankful for every day in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, you mentioned when you came here. Did you remember anything aside from the fans? Anything about the culture or the country that you really enjoyed?
Well, the food over here is pretty damn good. There's the taxi cabs, the Jeeps, though.
Yeah, the Jeepneys.
You know I don't fit in those, right?
You're like the size of one of them.
Yeah, I'm like the size of them. It's like I could strap one to my foot and
you just
use it
gotta
for
lay
a
down.
skateboard.
Exactly.
Use it for a body surfing board. Yeah, that'll work. But it's this culture is funny because even though you guys are on the other side of the ocean, you're very up to speed and up to hip on music and movies and slang, and it's almost like there's an umbilical cord that runs right straight to the Philippines from the U.S. Mm-hmm. So you really, even though there's a different culture, but at the same time, you really don't feel like you're outside of the U.S. too much. Mm-hmm. As far as culture and fashion and style and stuff like that, this could be anywhere in America.
And one thing I have to warn you about, in that same vein, there are a lot of smarks here too. So you might have to deliver a few WMDs.
No. I don't hit smarks, hit anybody. No, I'm done with that. I don't punch people anymore. I punch people to make money, not cost me money.
That's right.
So remember, don't try this. Don't try this at home. So there you go.
And I just want to ask you. Of course, now the culture of wrestling has changed. We're in the new era now. They're calling it, right?
Yeah, that's a good name for it. The new era.
Who are the guys that you like from the new era?
Some of the guys they brought up, I do. I like Corbin a lot. Mm-hmm. I like the way he moves in the ring. I know it's a weird thing, but if you've been in this business long enough and know what you're doing, how a guy moves his feet, plants his feet, says a lot about his in-ring style and his potential. Corbin's got it. He sells right. He moves right. His timing's good. You look at Randy Orton. Randy Orton doesn't do a whole lot of moves, but Randy Orton's got amazing timing. He's got that. He makes everything look effortless. That's a unique style. Like Enzo and Cass. Enzo's just intensity and the promos, and Cass is coming along good. Cass is going to learn how to work like a bigger guy. As long as they keep those two together, I'd like to see those guys have a really nice tag run. But I'm interested to see what Cass does in the singles in the future down the road. Let him get seasoned. Let him get some experience. He could be, a big, rough, raw-bone dude, kind of like a JBL maybe, is that in-ring, rip your head off with a clothesline from hell kind of deal. Finn Balor, of course, is amazing. Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I love watching Kevin Owens work. Kevin Owens is one of my favorite heels. Love watching that guy work. Yeah, because he's not your atypical WWE wrestler with a tan and lots of baby oil and cool tattoos and spray tan on. Kevin looks like a guy that just wants to kick you in the face. I like that. It translates. And Kevin also had some great matches with John Cena. I thought Kevin did a great job of pushing John to another level. He really did. John got some creative, innovative offense out of it. They had some great matches. It was, and Kevin's attitude, the thing that gets me about Kevin too, Kevin doesn't walk in here with his hat in his hand like, oh, I'm so glad to be a WWE superstar. He walks in like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here. What's up? It's the difference between walking in and being on the team or walking in and starting, and he walked in and started. He's always had that attitude, and personally, I compliment him on that. I've never been one for people with meek or mushy attitudes. If you're here, come in and make a statement and back it up. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people that get into WWE right now forget the number one goal. the #1 goal is to make sure the fans have the best show possible, and the superstars in the back have to stay diligent and have to stay hungry and have to stay focused. You haven't arrived because you're here. The best way I can explain, you're one closer step to getting fired. You know,
that's true.
So you have to earn that job every day.
I gotta put you on the spot for one last question. I'm gonna ask you, give me one name. If you had to say, you know, this is the last guy I'm gonna work. You know, obviously we saw Ric Flair with Shawn Michaels. He got his pick. Who would it be for you?
My last match?
Yeah, a dream match. You know.
My last match. If I could pick the last match, the last guy I would like to work ever.
Yes.
It would either be Triple H or John Cena.
All right. Well,
one of those two guys would be my last. Or Taker. Taker would be good, but I don't want to fight Taker at Mania. You don't ever do well against Taker at Mania. So.
Yeah, he's got a pretty good record there.
Yeah. I like Hunter's record at Mania better. He's lost a lot like me, so I think I've got like a reverse Undertaker thing going for a while. Until I said something, then I realized, my God, he's like 0-10. We better let him win one. Like, no, don't let me win any. I want to be 0-21. But you know, anyway.
Oh, well, I thank you very much for taking the time out, and I hope you enjoy the rest of Manila.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for the interview.